We're in a major war, aren't we? In Iran?
I mean, sure, we're in a conflict, but I don't think that this is where you actually
A war? Is it a war? Is it a war?
This can't be it, bro. Oh my god, I would just hate being conservative MAGA. You know what? I actually would cave and be like, you know what? My bad. I voted wrong and I'll switch, because there's no way logically I can defend any of this.
My first surrounded claim is President Trump is more of a war-making president than a peacemaking president.
If you would like to debate this.
True. I mean, let's see how they defend it. We're gonna say, because you have to bring up what has he done for peace. Like, come on now. It should be easy.
Please get to the chair in 3.
If he's actually the peace president.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Micah.
Good
to meet you, Glenn. So first, I want to just ask, what makes a peacemaking president?
A peacemaking president is somebody who, in the first place, avoids war for their own country, either solves and resolves wars that they inherit, or prevents wars from breaking out that they would get their country involved with.
Okay, so you agree that prevention is a part of what makes a president a peacemaking president?
For sure.
And he's gonna say, well, us preemptively striking or attacking someone first is, yeah, it's aggressive. It is a form of violence, but it's all in defense, right? And that means he's fighting for peace. So, which means any fighting, if you're doing it justly and for America, as long as it's quote unquote for peace in the end for them.
Okay, so then what about Trump's foreign policy is not prevention?
Well, the first thing that he did in getting to office, basically within 30 days, was restarted a bombing campaign that President Biden had prosecuted throughout 2024, that President Trump during the campaign had heavily criticized. Yet as soon as President Trump got into office, he not only restarted that bombing campaign, but escalated it. That was the one in Yemen against the Houthis. It went on for about 5-6 weeks, or entailed hundreds of people who were dead.
Was that not necessary for like global trade to ensue? Was the Houthis not attacking?
But wait, you forget in the context.
No, the Houthis were only attacking Israel at the time that President Trump did that. There was a peace deal that President Trump engineered that ended up being very temporary. And the Houthis said, for as long as
I mean, they're going to be broken on Israel anyway. Like, they all probably hate Israel. Maybe. Actually, oh wait, never mind. I don't know what they are.
Deal is in place. We won't attack ships. Once the Israelis started violating it, not letting food, they said we're only going to attack Israeli ships.
So here's a question for you, Glenn. Are we still in conflict in Yemen?
No, President Trump ended his own war that he started.
Okay, so then by your definition, did we not prevent further conflict by having...
That is so stupid. Oh my God. Come on. This can't be the way debates are. Okay. There's no way he just made that equivocation and made that, okay, well, I started a fight. I ended the fight. I'm the peace. No, I'm the aggressor. What do you mean? I shouldn't even have to explain that. Like, it's
conflict, and would we not free up the trade routes in Yemen from being attacked by the Houthis? It's free, is it not?
It's like saying I stabbed myself in the stomach, but then I brought myself to the ER where I had a doctor fix me up, and that proves that I'm really interested in fitness and self-care. President Trump started the war in Yemen. He escalated the war in Yemen. It was stopped at the time that he took over.
Were the Houthis attacking people or not?
They were attacking a foreign country called Israel that is not part of the United States.
True.
So
do these international trade routes not affect America?
No, not when it's only Israel whose ships are being attacked. You can say the war is just. The question is President Trump...
Yeah, and it's like, what is our interest in being involved in that said conflict with Yemen and Israel? Why? Again, I think it's talk about, well, why are we defending Israel?
Making war or making peace. You can say, okay, he made war in Yemen, but I think the war is just. He's still a war-making president by definition.
Yeah.
There was no war when he got
by
in.
the result.
Like, they're going to say, as long as you agree with the war, it's fine.
Of the conflict, that it was a peace.
And especially if we win the war, oh yeah. I mean, well, there's been no lost wars, obviously, but especially if we win it and it's for a good cause, he's peaceful.
In military engagement, we have peace.
How did it end? How did it end?
How did it end?
It ended by the Houthis saying, we will not attack anybody except the Israelis, and as long as they're denying food and water entering into Gaza. And they continue to do so. It achieved nothing. All it did was have the United States deplete our missiles, our military force, our resources.
Like, how do they not know Trump has no plan about the Middle East, no plan about wars, no plan about anything? He has no idea what anything is on the map. Like, there's no concrete plan about how to solve any of these issues. The only thing he knows concrete is about when he's going to play golf next. That's the only thing he knows. Anything about America, anything about gas prices, the war, Iran, just forget about it. Because if you ask him anything that doesn't have anything that's not relevant to him about what he wants to talk about, at that point, you might as well just forget about it.
It was a war that didn't exist, that Trump created. Yes, congratulations, he ended his own war, but that is an example of a war-making president. That's just one example. There's obviously war in Iran as well, that he inherited a presidency where we were not at war with Iran. We are now at war with Iran. We've twice gone to war with Iran under President Trump. That's another war that he's made.
Do you not agree that Iran is a major threat and destabilizes?
Bro, that has nothing to do with anything. But like, why are we attacking Iran? Why? because they're a threat. So like, so just we attack anyone who's doing something bad. Like, I guess one, it's not your business. If it was your business, you need to have a better plan than just bombing a place. Okay, this. Come on now.
The Middle East all the time.
I don't, but we'll get to whether the war is just. The question now is, does President Trump make more wars?
Well, I
you
think,
seem to be
so
acknowledging
I want to
he
go
makes wars,
back to
but that
what
they're
you
just.
initially agreed to, though, is that part of what makes a peacemaking president isn't just, oh, we don't start any conflicts. It's actually engaging in conflicts to prevent further.
So war is
conflict
peace.
in
No,
this
but George
conversation.
Orwell in 1984 described the most extreme kind of propaganda by war-making tyrannies. And one of the things citizens
Glenn,
get told is war
though,
is peace.
Did you not admit that part of what makes a peacemaking president is stepping in and preventing further conflicts?
Yes, but you can't prevent conflicts by starting conflicts.
I think he's like intentionally trying. So like I don't know. He's already operating from the position of defending Trump. So from that, I don't know how you can even make a good argument, because his argument literally is, what makes a peace president? He told you, and he said, well, Trump does that. And he's like, well, we don't need to do that. And he's saying, well, he's doing it because he wants peace. I'm like, no, but he's starting these things. Oh, but he wants peace. He's starting it. Honestly, I've seen him debate before, and this was a pretty bad performance from him. I don't know what this defense was. He could have come up with some other argument or something to defend this position, but like, this was not cutting it. This didn't work.
Making president is stepping in and preventing further conflicts.
Yes, but you can't prevent conflicts by starting conflicts. Starting
What do you
conflicts
mean?
is starting conflicts.
Why do you
He
not
stops
use
the
the
wars
word
he
there?
starts.
Can you not?
Like, bro, like,
Here, Mike, we got pause here. You've been voted out by
He
the
should have been
majority.
voted
Your
out
turn.
a long time ago.
Let's start with the conflicts that he did indeed stop, right? For example, Pakistan, India. Pakistan nominated Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. They said that he specifically played a big role
What
in
did
preventing
India
that
say?
conflict. Well, India disagreed, but Pakistan regardless said that he played a key role in preventing it. We had Thailand versus Cambodia also break out. Cambodia nominated Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize and also said that he prevented that conflict. I'd also say in reference to Venezuela, obviously no one thinks that Maduro was good there. The tyranny was crazy. The way that he was leading the government, everyone agrees. But he was able to take Maduro out, and Desi Rodriguez, who's now the vice president, is very, you could say, subordinate or servile, right? 50 million barrels of oil, restricting
peaceful?
Cuba, so on and so forth. And so I would disagree that he's a warmongering president.
Okay, the point is not he's a warmongering president. The formulation is he's
Right.
more of a war-making president
Sure.
than a peacemaking president. So even in your examples, including in Venezuela,
Right.
you're not denying.
Yeah,
that he used military-
he's just saying it's for a good cause. Like, and that's what they're gonna be the whole prompt. Like, I don't say anything the entire time, because that's for their defense of like just justifying the wars and like, okay, just justify it, but like then you're conceding the entire prompt.
force in a way that is considered an act of war
Sure.
by every country on the planet.
Sure.
You're defending the wars that he's making by saying they lead to good outcomes, which we can debate, but that's a separate question
Sure.
from the proposition. As far as these wars that you're concerned that I know he loves to cite, India was vehement that he had no role to play of any meaningful kind in mediating that conflict between India and Pakistan.
Which
There was
I'm
a war
probably
that
sure
goes
he
back-
didn't,
that
bro.
conflict
He
goes
didn't have
many
anything.
hundreds
Like,
of
he
years.
So is India.
always tries to take and attach his name to these things and get these Nobel Peace Prizes. Like, he wants to be recognized so bad as a good person when he hasn't done anything to actually be recognized as a good person. So you might want to start doing that instead of just getting medals. Like, come on now.
Trump.
Conflicts.
But even let me ask you these questions. This
Right.
question about these other conflicts that you named. Were those
Right.
part of the 2024 campaign? Did
Not
you ever
necessarily, but I
mention
don't
that?
think
Right?
that-
But you know why? Because they're completely trivial, and because the role that the United
Sure.
States plays in them is also essentially trivial as well. These
So-
are these, and a lot, we can analyze those.
Sure.
But let's be clear. The real question is: does President Trump make war for the United States? Whether he
The answer is
plays
no.
some ancillary role in this. Well, we're in a major war.
Well, so let's
we're in a
clarify
major
two
war
things.
now,
So when it
right?
came to
We're in a
Venezuela-
major war, aren't we? In Iran?
I mean, sure, we're in a conflict, but I don't think that this is where you actually
A
had
war?
wrong
Is it a
with the last
war?
guy.
Is it a war?
This can't be it, bro. Oh my god, I would just hate being a Republican, conservative, MAGA. I'm not gonna lie. If I put my career on the line and I was MAGA and then this was happening, you know what? I actually would cave and be like, you know what? My bad. I voted wrong and I'll switch, because there's no way logically I can defend any of this. Like, there's just like, even if I don't know, like, even if you like Trump, like, there's just no way you should just be defending this guy in any capacity.
You can call it's a war and a conflict. There's no necessary, there was no disagreement there. It's a conflict and a war. It's both, right? But the conflict didn't start recently, right? In 1979, Iran kidnapped 66 Americans and held them hostage for over 400 days, right? So
You can say, oh, but it didn't start yesterday. This conflict was going on forever. One, that still doesn't justify us bombing them right now. It does not justify it right now. Even if, oh, they said this last year and they did bro. What? We weren't in conflict with them. The big boogeyman Israel actually did it to us. They drug us into the war, bro. We actually have the talking point. like of Israel actually forcing us to do something we maybe didn't want to do. We got coerced or something. They want to say like it's justified to just attack Iran for no reason. And now, like, bro, they have the cards, bro. Gas prices are up and have not gone down since.
Why did they do
That
that?
happened because they're anti-Western. But hold on, just let me finish this. So the conflict with Iran, or our issues with Iran, in reference to specifically the Islamic Republic, started more there. In 1982, 3 years later specifically, there was a Beirut barracks bombing, which I'm sure you're familiar with, where 242 Americans were killed in Beirut. They were there as a peacekeeping force, actually. And guess who specifically? I believe in 2002, a federal judge actually ruled that Iran supplied Hezbollah and gave them intelligence to kill 242 Americans. On top of that, I believe in Venezuela they have the Quds Force as well that is there. Is
he trying to say that to make him be like, oh, either that didn't happen or I disagree? Like, I mean, some of the stuff, yeah, like he's gonna be talking about real conflicts, real wars, but this has nothing to do with the prompt. Like, he needs to like has his tie into Trump being a good president because he's just gonna explain history, and he probably did read up on it. I know he's smart. He does his research. I see on his streams on TikTok. He actually knows his stuff. But like, how does this point to Trump being a peacemaking president and like resolving conflicts? He told him about a war with India. He's like, oh, they gave him credit. And he's saying, no, they didn't. They actually blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, so I don't know if his research he's doing is already even. I think he's just doing biased research at this point. Like he probably researched this for Iran to have specific talking points on why we should have and why it's justified to bomb Iran and be in active war with them when we weren't even at war with them. So yeah, he's going to research, pick out, and present why Iran is bad in the history of stuff that they've done against us to paint the picture that this is an okay war to be in right now.
Were we at war with Iran when President Trump was inaugurated?
No, we weren't directly in
Are we at war now?
Right, so
he
I think
made
I would,
that
I
war,
would say,
right?
wait, hold on, stop.
No,
So
I mean, we talked a lot.
I would say that we're already in a conflict. I would say that yes, generally, not like war in terms of declaring war conspicuously, but yes, we've been in a conflict, a long-standing conflict specifically.
He's not going to answer it.
More of a war-making
Right,
president.
I don't think any of those conflicts were made by Trump. That's where you're wrong.
India and Pakistan were in conflict prior to the war.
Right, and we were in conflict with Iran.
Exactly. There are a lot of people who are. There are a lot of countries that are in conflict with one another.
Right.
They're not all at war. Most of them are not at war. The United States became in a war with Iran when Israel and the United States announced that they were attacking
pretty
Iran.
simple.
And
it's
started a war
not
with
that
Iran.
hard to actually know that.
There's conflicts between Brazil and Argentina.
Sure.
There's conflicts between Peru and Uruguay. There's
But you're
conflicts
being vague.
No, I'm being very specific.
He's being vague. What do you mean? He's being specific. He's saying like he's trying to differentiate between conflict and war. He's saying like, oh, well, we're in a conflict. I'm like, no, come on.
Talking about a war.
So there's a difference between smaller conflicts or like a general conflict that's going on for a long time and like a large-scale war, and even like, for example, small military engagements. Like, for example, Midnight Hammer, we bombed Natanz, Bordeaux, and Isfahan.
Oh my God.
Were more smaller engagements, right? And by the way, we pulled that pretty quickly, and everything was fine afterwards.
If Russia came to the United States and bombed 3 different
You say United
nuclear
States?
facilities in the United States with B-52 bombers of the Russian
Are you
Soviet
saying it would be
analog,
casus
would
belli?
you consider that to be an act of war?
Yeah, you're saying it would be casus belli, right?
No, I'm not
Casus
talking about
belli means act of war.
Yeah, would you?
So
would
yeah,
you,
it would be casus belli. That's the answer.
Okay, congratulations on using Latin.
Right.
I'm just wanting to. I don't want to necessarily test your language.
that
That would be an act of war, right?
Yeah, the same way that
Okay,
we're-
so
hold
He's
on.
lucky. I don't know. He's being a little bit pedantic and a little bit too smart for his own good. Like, you know, like you just get to the point, bro. He's kind of just bogging down the conversation with this.
The same way that, for example, the IRGC, the Pakistani guy that was recently convicted, he admitted that the IRGC paid him and tried to give him intelligence to assassinate Donald Trump around at the time where Butler happened. That's also casus belli.
Were we
the
at
fact
war
that the
with
IRGC
Iran
tried
when-
to kill our president?
Were we at war with
that the
Iran?
Electra elected
Were we at war
is
with
an act
Iran?
of war.
Were we
So
at
yeah,
war?
we've been in conflict
you
and
said
an act
that-
of war with
no,
Iran for a very long
okay,
time.
but you
And
just-
it's funny that you're not mentioning.
Bro, oh, the lowest common denominator. And guess who was the first one to clap, bro? Yeah.
Were we, but you
And
just,
it's funny that you're not mentioning.
You said
Like, bro, he's not like, again, I can't. I don't have anything to say,
the
bro.
fact
I
that
don't
242 Americans
have
were killed in
anything to
Beirut in
say.
1982.
the United
Was
States.
that not an act
The
of war?
United States has killed
Was that
countries
not an
throughout
act of
the Middle East. You know what President Reagan did in response to that?
Like, how does he think this is a win? He still hasn't even answered the point. Or even made a good point. He still hasn't made anything.
Said
So
the
I
reason
don't
this
care.
happened is
All
because
this
we
literally
have a
doesn't matter.
military base in Lebanon where we shouldn't be, and he withdrew those troops. That's because he knew that the reason we were being attacked was because we were interfering in that region.
Yeah, we were there
The
as a
reason that
peacekeeping force from
Iran
the
took
UN.
over and the embassy was because we had overthrown their democratically elected government in 1953 and imposed a savage, brutal tyranny on them that ruled that country from 1953 until the revolution in 1979.
sure.
But these are all historically interesting points
That's
that we could
actually
talk
wrong.
about with the justification. No, it's not wrong. The point is, I asked you earlier, was the United States at war with Iran?
The answer is yes.
But you said no. And
It depends on how you're defining war. It depends on how you're defining war and long-term conflict. But let me hold on.
The point is we were not at war, as you said the first time when I asked you, with Iran.
We're
when
still
President Trump
stuck
took
on this,
office.
bro.
He didn't talk about there being a war throughout
No, he talked about
2020,
2011,
and we are now
2013.
in a war because
Even by the way,
he made a
2020,
war.
he continued to say
war
Iran
with
cannot have a nuclear weapon. By the way, can you explain to me the reason for 60% rich uranium? No country that has tried to, or even been in talks of trying to get a nuclear weapon, has ever reached 60% and not gotten to 90%
because
with weapons
President Trump
grade. That's never,
invalidated
ever happened,
the
by the way.
agreement where they were only at 3%. President Trump make this war.
No, that's not. The answer is no.
So
This
we
has
were
been a general.
we
yes,
were at war.
We have been at a general conflict with Iran, or you could say even a war. For
I am saying
over 47 years.
And President Trump just forgot to mention that we were at war when he was running for president in 2024. Never said, hey, by the way, we're at war with Iran.
He openly said, no. He's been very conspicuous about this. He's been very clear about the fact that we have a conflict with Iran. We have issues.
No,
with
a war.
Iran.
A
They
war.
tried to kill
We do
him.
have conflict.
Right. Again, I don't think you understand it. Wars can also be conflicts.
Exactly,
So I
but
don't know why you keep
but
saying-
conflicts aren't
right.
necessarily wars. The question is,
Yes.
was there a war?
I don't
with
know.
Iran?
Wait.
We
do have conflict.
Again, I don't think you understand it. Wars can
Somebody
also be
put the
conflicts.
flags
Exactly.
up. Somebody
So
put the flags up, bro. It's done. It's over, bro. It's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. Put the flag up. Put the flag up. Oh my
Why
god.
did President Trump bother to
Holy.
mention, hey, by the way, we're
He's
at
been
war
very
with Iran in
conspicuous about it.
2024, and
He's
here's
very conspicuous about it.
So the war didn't
what
start.
would be the incentive? Just like, hey, we're at war with Iran. No, everyone understands that we've been at a long-term
Nobody
conflict
understood
with
because
No
it was
one,
never
no.
true. It
No,
was
and by the way,
war.
We got to pause here. Can we just hear your response and then we got to stop?
Yeah, there were several wars that President Trump started in Yemen, Venezuela, and Iran. You can say they're just
Nope.
or not, but these wars did not exist. Nobody said they existed.
What do you
during
mean no? He
2024.
just saying no, like it didn't happen. Like, bro, the selective research is crazy. What is he? I give him credit. I'm like, oh, he's smart with his research, but like again, I think he just does like botched biased research. Like,
campaign, including President Trump.
Unfortunate.
And when he announced them
Civil war that happened?
as with the
We
United
gotta
States in
stop with him.
2024.
All right, pause.
Good talk to you.
True.
Hello, how are you? Good to meet you.
Okay, nice to meet you too. Okay, so I want to get back to the prompt about peace versus war. So the way I look at it is the first Trump administration was a peaceful administration. There was no new wars that were started, right? We had the Abraham Accords, which Trump should have won a Nobel Peace Prize for because it was historic. And then we had something that was ahistoric, right? So the Biden administration came in between. It kind of disrupted Trump's foreign policy. And under the Biden administration,
Ooh, let's just see how she sweeps.
we saw the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, which was really a green light to our anti-Western adversaries that we didn't really have the strong will to defend U.S. hegemony abroad. Following that, the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. And then we saw Biden trying to re-engage in JCPOA negotiations as a legacy of the Obama administration. And he unfroze $16 billion in assets to the regime, and then also waived sanctions. They could sell over
Whose
$100
assets
billion.
were those?
Bro, they had them under wraps. Basically, they said that okay, like we'll monitor it. That JCPOA deal, it gave them, I guess, some type of insight to see like kind of what they're doing, and they can't reach a certain level or they can't do things outside of that agreement because then that would be a threat. Then it's cause for like an attack, and you can't have certain things. Sure, but if they're gonna say it's a bad thing, well, what we're doing now is this better? Like, what is Trump's deal to stop them from having a nuclear weapon? Is it just war? So like you would rather just stop them having a nuclear weapon. Okay, cool. You would just attack them instead of talk to them, instead of make deals and come to the middle, which the deal was on the table. It was up there. He tore it up, and we're in the predicament right now. So yeah.
They're there, they're frozen. That's
Iran's assets.
correct, but that's going against the maximum pressure campaign. So if you don't want war, how do you then deter a belligerent actor if it's not maximum sanctions? What would your solution be then? To let them.
In general, in every other country on the
Is
planet,
that
except
the
United
only
States
thing
and
you
Israel,
do?
War is talked about as a last resort, something that you engage in only if there's a country that's attacking
For Trump, is literally the first resort.
Which war
or
are we
attacking
talking
your
about?
homeland or attacking what's
Okay,
that?
so the sanctions are a legacy of the Iraq-Iran war in the 1980s. So which war are we talking about? The current operation, which is not a war?
I'm talking
or-
about why we should be at
It's
war.
not a
with Iran
war,
at all.
bro.
And
It is
you're
a
saying,
war.
What is it that we should
Again,
do?
I thought maybe this was recorded when maybe the talks weren't that it was a war, but we're clearly in a war now. I think this was recorded maybe in like the first month of like the Iran war, maybe the first weeks, and this was the talking point where like they were trying to hide behind it's not a war, it's a conflict because it's been happening, whatever. But no, definitely now it's a war. Yeah.
Doing
Well,
Iran
I'm saying
and
I
my
don't
point
think
when
people
talking about the Biden regime,
not say that.
the Biden administration was that they empowered. We could maybe use regime. They empowered the Iranian regime diplomatically, financially, which then positioned them for October 7th. And also the Houthis. It is true, the Houthis blocked off the Suez Canal for 4 to 5 months. We also had British military naval ships in the region, U.S. military ships. So they weren't just attacking Israel, although yes, that was a part of it. So we saw a destabilized Middle East because of the direct
Okay, so
empowerment
let
with
me
Iran.
just, it's interesting because I
Yeah,
think this is a very
yeah,
different
you're
perspective
rambling.
because we are a country that is constantly at war, unlike everybody else on the planet. The last time China fought a war was 1979, and one of the reasons
Okay.
they're displacing the United States and every region
Yeah,
in the
proxy
globe,
wars.
including
So
Latin
we're
America and
attacking them.
Africa, is because they spend their resources resources building up their country while we have our country deteriorating because we spend so much time and money and effort and
Well, that's
resources
one
on
take.
foreign
The other
wars.
take is that they don't have the conventional capabilities to
They,
enact
they
a
have a
war.
massive, gigantic military. They just don't. They just know.
Yeah, they
said,
don't.
which is
They
what-
they
by the
just
way,
hone it in,
President
bro.
Trump's primary
They
political
are actually like you talk about America first, bro. They are China first, bro. You want to talk about, bro?
appeal was that we're constantly fighting these foreign wars. We have to stop fighting foreign wars in the Middle East so that we can focus on our own communities and our own country. And here we are back in another one. But I think the point about Iran is that the idea that we can just go and steal countries' money. As you said, it's
That's not
Iran's
what the point of the
assets. They
claim
have
is.
oil
The
in their
claim is
country.
that we're
Let
a
me
war
just finish. They sell their oil to other countries. They receive money for it. We take that money using our dollar as the reserve currency. We steal it and freeze it. And then
We don't steal
somehow,
it. We are
I should also say
punishing
that
a belligerent regime.
President Trump just lifted
He's just
sanctions
punishing
on Iranian
them.
oil at sea,
Right.
enabling
It was
them to
a
get
will
huge
of
amounts
good
of money.
faith. It was a good faith
No,
action
it was
for China.
because he
Yes,
needed
for
to
the
do that because we
negotiations.
need oil on the global market because of oil
It's been
because
closed
gas
for-
prices are so
it's
high.
still lower than it was under the Biden administration.
No, I'm
at
saying
the
they're-
peak.
Bro, okay. I keep forgetting this is probably just an old video, old recording, but I mean, no. Why am I even saying that? It still isn't. Even if it's the old recording, it wasn't. It's still not lower.
Because of this war, President Trump lifted sanctions on Iranian oil at sea.
Yes, as
they
a
are now
goodwill to China
charging
to bring us to
money.
the
They are
negotiation
now
table.
charging money for the Strait of Hormuz. And
Yes,
the
'cause
key
that's
to,
the only
and there's
tactic they
no
have
way
left.
there will be an end to this war that we're currently
No.
negotiating unless the sanctions are lifted on Iran.
They're
Because
completely
there's-
wiped out at the knee. Let me just get back to what I was saying about the Biden administration because it's important. So we look at how diplomacy has never worked. The JCPOA completely empowered the regime. Same thing with Biden again. So Trump came into a region that was completely changed. Also just globally, right? I believe the Iranian regime bought 2.5 million acres in Venezuela, which is in our Western Hemisphere. So he came into a world where our anti-Western adversaries had gained strategic holdings that hinder U.S. hegemony abroad. So he went into the region and he said, okay, I'm going to negotiate with the Iranian regime. Didn't come as good faith actors to the negotiation table. Operation Midnight Hammer was a preambtive strike. They still continue
Was
to come
Biden
to
at
the
war with
table.
Iran?
I would say, yeah, he
No,
started to be at war
no,
with the regime that you're
no.
funding.
So Biden was not at war with Iran?
That you're funding, but we were funding Iran.
Well, we were at war with Iran via Israel, if you want to look at it as a proxy
So
situation.
Biden was fighting a war against
And also
Iran?
another thing, you keep saying that Trump started wars
No,
in
I'm just-
Yemen,
I'm trying to
in
figure out if we
Lebanon.
were
Again,
about
but
to
those
Answer
are
it.
proxy wars funded by Iran.
Was
those,
the United
those
States at
conflicts
war
existed
with-
way before
Answer it.
Was
Trump came into
Biden waging a
office.
war against Iran?
Yes or no?
He was funding
Yes
the
or
regime
no?
and empowering
No,
them.
he
So
wasn't.
the
No, he
answer is
wasn't.
It's
No.
really hard
Okay,
to
so
wage
the
war
war in
against
Iran,
no,
regimes
yes or
that
no?
are
okay, so the war
propaganda.
in Iran was started by President Trump in the second
The
term,
war
correct?
in Iran is
It was
first of all, it's not a
already
war, it's an
started, bro.
operation. We have highly discriminately taken out
What
heads
would be
of
a
the
war be?
IRGC.
How is it not a war?
Well, it's not a war because the
my
Iranian
God.
regime
We're
can't
blowing
respond in a way that
up- we're blowing
necessitates
up the
war.
bridges.
Yes, it's an
We're blowing
operation.
up the-
And they've been
It's,
blowing
it's
up
an
the
op-
Middle
it's
East.
an operation, but it's a conflict operation that we are getting our goals intact for this mission, and we will come out victorious. That's not a war.
No, I'm just trying. Again, the proposition we're supposed to be discussing,
Right,
and I
he's
realize why
war-making.
you don't want
Supposed
to
to be, but why
No,
would
I
we,
am.
bro?
I'm demonstrating how the
Boring.
regime was
to-
empowered
Oh,
when he came to
boring.
office, so it
You have
necessitated
to
a
let-
response that was different
you
than
have
his
to let
first
me finish.
administration when there was
Was
peace
President?
restraint.
You have to let me finish. What the question we're supposed to be debating
Which
is
I
that
answered.
President Trump is more
He
of a
didn't.
war-making president
And I
than a
just said he
peacemaking
came into a
president.
situation in the Middle East that was vastly different than the one that he
No,
left
I
because
understand.
That's
I
that,
understand.
bro.
I was
Stop
trying to ask about
filibustering.
war,
Answer.
which is
So what is
Answer.
the response then? So if it's
no,
not high pressure
was
sanction
President
action-
Biden waging a war on Iran? Yes or no?
Well, if you're talking about responding
just
to
Yes,
all
he
of
answer
that-
that?
was.
Why
So
can't
then
you
yes,
answer?
if Iran is considered the Houthis, the Hezbollah, Hamas, then yes, we
President
were waging
Biden
a
was
war.
waging a war.
They literally, they will say anything that comes to their mind. The first thing that comes to their mind, they just say it. I could never. Oh my God.
Via our
I thought you
proxies.
said he was so favorable to Iran that he
I
was
said he
treating Iran
empowered
so
the
well.
regime. Yeah, both sides of the conflict, but he empowered the regime.
Were we at war not with Iran's proxies, but with Iran itself under
well,
Joe Biden?
Iran actually broke the status quo of not engaging with Israel, our greatest ally, in
Did
May
Joe,
of
did Joe
2024.
Biden wage a war on Iran?
She hasn't answered
It's
one
not- first off,
question.
again,
Why
I-
can't
She hasn't
you just
answered one
answer? Why
question.
can't
She
you
hasn't
I just said
answered.
yes if you're going to consider via proxies, which
No,
you
I'm
No,
not
literally-
no, 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 no. Answer it like for
Proximity
real. What
directly
is she
with
doing?
Iran.
Okay, but you're contradicting yourself because you said Trump started wars
I'm
in
only
Yemen,
asking a
and you're
question.
trying to
Oh
find
my
proxies
God.
together.
I'm
So you can't
asking a
define
I'm
war
like, they are not having a good performance. Like, should wait. What did I expect? I expected a good MAGA performance.
for
No,
time.
I
I'm
don't
not
even
surprised.
know what I'm talking
We're out
about.
of time. Please return to your seat.
Yeah. Oh, it's over. Yeah, bro. She didn't answer your question. Good job.
Raise your flag if you would concede that Trump started this current war with Iran. Okay, so we got two people. Thank you.
My next round of claim is
Woo,
President Trump
that's
is
not good.
subservient to the Israel lobby.
If you'd like to debate this claim,
Oh, Israel. Oh God.